Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise in support of the rule in the underlying bill of H.R. 674, which repeals the 3% withholding requirements on state and local governments for goods and services. The 3% withholding requirement is just another layer of burden and unfunded mandates on our states, cities, counties, and private entities. Withholding 3% of a contract at the start, just in case, sets a horrible precedent. When we find a bad actor in the contracting community, we should have aggressive prosecution, suspension, and debarment. But we should not have a national policy that assumes every contractor in America is a tax cheat. It's a dreadful policy, and it's horrible economics. Let me break this down to what it will mean for communities in my state of Oklahoma. In Oklahoma City, it will cost between $75,000 and $250,000 to implement the initial financial system and all the modifications to comply with these rules. After that, it's expected to cost at least $15,000 a year to maintain those modifications in the financial system. To ensure that Oklahoma City fully complies with these mandates, to maintain the financial system, the Oklahoma City estimates they're going to have to hire 2 additional full-time employees. Now, I understand that we're all about job creation here, but our job creation should focus on goods and services and taking care of people, not filling out even more federal forms. In Edmond, Oklahoma, they're concerned how the 3% withholding requirement would eventually be passed along to the buyer, increasing the overall cost. Edmond's annual contractual services expenditure line is over $130 million this year. If the cost of these products and services are increased by 3% to cover the withholding costs, Edmond's expenditures will be raised by $4 million. Worse yet, that can mean contractors choosing not to bid on city and local projects, ultimately decreasing competition and increasing the cost. A contractor in Tecumseh, Oklahoma, small town, that I spoke with, told me that with the down economy, he only had a 2% profit margin last year. The 3% requirement would stifle his cash flow and would force him to increase his bids, which of course would be passed along to the taxpayer. Mr. Speaker, as we continue to find ways to kickstart our economy and encourage job growth in the private sector, I'm hopeful we can come to a bipartisan agreement to reduce the regulatory burden on state and local governments and encourage private sector growth. I am sure it is well-intentioned at the start, but it is time to eliminate this burdensome regulation. And I yield back the balance of my time.